audio?
I'm cranking you up on mine.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Talk normal, like if you were just saying.
Well, I am talking normally.
So crank it up just a little bit.
Just a little bit? Okay. How about... Is that good?
Talk.
Okay, well, I'm talking. I was listening to the new Iggy Pop album a couple hours ago. It's really good.
It's still low. Well, compared to mine, it's still kind of... Yeah, mine is really loud compared to yours.
Well, why don't you turn yours down? Maybe I'm not too quiet. Maybe you're just too loud.
Shut up, man. Okay, that's better. All right. Okay, cool. All right, we have that.
I just realized something.
What?
We're doing this live, and we always fuck up the intro.
Oh, yeah, we got to do the intro at least 4 times. I want everybody to be aware of that.
Oh.
Okay.
Usually what it is that we screw up 5 or 6 intros, and we just pick the best one.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
Okay, here you go. Ready?
All right.
And welcome to another episode of A Talk with Opportunity. This is Jose, and with me as always...
Hi.
Andrew. And today we're talking about our favorite class, the Clerics.
I don't know what you guys want from me. Do you want me to be sad? I can be sad. You guys make fun of me either way, you know? It's fine.
It's fine. Let's just play the music. You won't be able to hear this, but I will. And everybody else who's watching the stream will. So just sit there in silence, Andrew. So, Andrew.
Stream shenanigans.
This is why nobody takes us serious.
No. Why would anybody take us seriously?
I want to be famous. There's only one reason I'm doing this. It's not because I like you.
I'm piggybacking off of you for opportunity.
Yeah, what do you think that I like the title so much?
Yeah, I know.
All right, Andrew.
I made my throne from the skulls of my enemy. What's up?
So, Clerics. Oh, shit, I always forget. So, before that, are you drinking anything special today?
Okay, so if we're going to talk about Clerics, let's talk about... Okay, so Clerics are like God's gift to D&D. Let's talk about God's gift to man. Beer.
Oh, yes.
I am drinking something. Are you drinking something?
Yes, I am.
All right. Hold on, let me...
Remember, we're live, so you can show the bottle if you want to.
I will show the bottle. But first I want to pour it out. So, I got myself a good old-fashioned, like if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of beer.
Oh, God.
A Bell's Two-Hearted IPA.
Oh, I was going to say, I never had that before, and it's because it's an IPA.
It is really good.
Nice. Well, I went all out because I'm a little shit. And I was like, this is the final episode of this season. I'm going to make it special. So I got myself...
So here's this microbrew, like, Saison from Belgium. Oh, fuck it, eh?
It's a vintage ale from Fuller's.
It came in a box.
It came in a box.
How...
Look at that beautiful bottle.
How pretentious.
Let me be, Andrew.
I know. You went all out. You went all extravagant.
Listen,
I went with...
I didn't think we were going to make it past like 5 episodes.
I mean, to be fair, almost everything tried to make us not get past 5 episodes. So,
and somehow we made it to 22.
We fought through shitty audio equipment, poor scheduling,
Creative block.
A bunch of technical goof ups. yeah, creative block. A really bad creative block. So,
look at that beautiful color. What should be the shittiest beer I've ever had?
Yeah, you're gonna be like, it tastes like soap.
It's like a Yingling.
It's all right.
On steroids.
Look, this beautiful boxed limited edition, straight from blah blah. Yeah, it's all right.
I'm actually not that impressed. Hold on a minute. No, okay. There's more to it. It's a little bit more complex of a flavor. But put me on a blind test, and I'll just think it's like a new edition of jingling.
It's just like a normal everyday lager you can get at a bar.
Yeah. It's really good, though.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a little bit more of a malty taste, though. There you go.
Maybe there's like...
That was $55 well spent.
Oh my god!
No, it wasn't 55, but it was $11, which is still pretty high.
Well, I've had some beers that were $11, so... But I mean, it's usually like in like a wine bottle, like, you know...
Yeah, no, it's pretty good.
It's alright.
All right, so let's get to it.
You know, I'll give it like a 5 out of 10. Yeah, so...
Right. So, Andrew, Clerics.
Clerics.
The Healy Boys. The Saints.
How many times have we actually started a conversation going, okay, Clerics?
Every time there's like dead silence, like any time, it's just like, so, Clerics.
Clerics.
This guy's in our number one spot for a reason. Mm-hmm. We both got fired up about D&D talking over Clerics. I remember that 5e to be precise. And I remember that was like the catalyst to like over $800 worth of money spent on D&D. Bankruptcy, bad relationships, all the things. Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, well, you know.
It happens.
I can't say I'm not a good influence.
Yeah, you can't say that.
So, Clerics.
Clerics.
Getting back on top. I mean, there you go. Drink your $11 Yingling.
Shut up, man. I really enjoy it.
All right. So, we actually have talked at length, probably to the point like of ad nauseum, about Clerics. And I think the reason why that is because they are so freed up in 5e compared to all the previous editions. Because Clerics have been here since day one. Like they were one of the original three, you know, Cleric, Fighter, Fighting Man, my bad, and Magic.
And Magic
not fighting woman. It was a different time.
A woman can't be an adventurer.
Oh.
Maybe a barmaid. Hey, Robert, thank you for following our Facebook. I'm assuming because you were already following our Twitch. Welcome to a live episode.
Yay! I'm sorry. I'm sorry for any snafus and beer burps that's going to be happening.
It's going to be a lot of that.
They will be happening.
I don't get 3 days to edit it out.
No, it's going right now. Like, fuck it, we're doing it live. So, hold on. Gotta get my burp fuel going on. Okay. So yeah, Clerics have been there since day one. And I don't really know how they worked in original Dungeons & Dragons or AD&D, but I did reread how they worked in 3/3.5. And to my surprise, they still had the domains. They had them back then. It was really boiled down though. There was like 15 domains in the base game alone.
Jeez.
So there was like a plant domain, thunder domain, fire domain, sun domain, healing domain, good domain, blah 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 blah. And the thing about Clerics then was that's cool that you picked a domain, but you're probably going to be healing a lot. and the reason why that was, and don't get me wrong, Clerics were still badass in 3.5. I remember plenty of times that somebody else played a Cleric because I didn't, because that was too complicated for me when I was like 15 or whenever I started playing. I remember plenty of times that the Cleric was a badass and like turned undead and stuff like that. But the problem with it was that the healing system in 3.5 was really grounded. And by really grounded, I mean, okay, so you know how in 5e you take a long rest and you just recap everything like you're good.
Yeah.
And 3.5, you took a long rest and you regained 1 HP per class level. So if you're a level 7 fighter, you get 7 HP back for an 8-hour rest.
Seriously? What was the average level 7 health cap?
It was about it was the same. Like the hit dice did not really change that much between editions.
So you just get 7 points?
You get 7 points for 8 hours of rest. Or if you want to like spend a day resting, you get 7, and then it's like times and a half your class level. So if you're a level 6, you get 9 health. So as you can clearly see, and short rests like just simply weren't a thing. Do you
still get to spend your hit dice like we're doing in 5e?
You know what? That's actually a really good question. I'll look that up while I'm talking about that. So while that was going on, really the only and don't forget, diseases were a lot more difficult to heal. Curses were a lot more difficult to heal. And so your cleric was really shackled down to being like, okay, it's cool that you're a war domain and you have proficiencies with martial weapons. Because really all the domains were in 3.5 was that you get X amount of spells. Like you get these like spells that are more catered towards whatever your domain is. And you might get something cool. Like the war domain gets like proficiency in martial weapons. And like the animal domain gets speak with animal for free kind of a deal. But really, outside of like spontaneous casting and stuff like that, which is another thing entirely in 3.5, you're going to be doing a lot of healing. Like your cleric is going to be the person that's going to bring you, if you were ever like down from a battle and you need to come back up to your full, that's what your cleric's going to be doing. Let's see. Also, no short rests. Just long rests. So you had to spend a whole day resting.
So the cleric was actually like a healy boy, because here, like in 5e, they're not necessarily like they're good at healing, but pretty much everybody can heal at some sort of way. So what it sounds like to me is like you needed a cleric in 3.5.
In 3.5, it was so grounded to the point that's like, oh, no one's playing a cleric. All right, well this campaign's going to have a time limit on it then.
Damn.
You know, I mean, I'm pretty sure that there were still classes like druids and bards that can heal, like use the healing spells and stuff like that. But a cleric is still like your best shot, and especially if you picked a cleric that was like a heal domain cleric, which was like kind of necessary because they casted their heal spells at a higher level than you normally would. So yeah. Even though the clerics in 3.5 and 3rd edition still get all this really cool stuff, they were really shackled down by the fact that, hey, I'm going to be spending probably 80% of my spells healing the party. So,
damn. So if you didn't like to be a support class, if nobody in your group would like to be a support class, you weren't going to be healed.
No, and that's why I never played clerics in 3.5 because I didn't want to be the support class. I want to be the guy that's like
right,
you know, shooting stuff and you know, blowing stuff up in the background and whatnot. And I remember, I distinctly remember before we started a game, because it was always the same thing. We started our games at midnight for whatever freaking reason. We started our games at midnight, so at like 10 o'clock we would start making our characters. And so it was like 11:45, and the DM's like, all right, everyone got your characters? And like he would just kind of like thumb through and make sure that we made them all right. And there was one time he's like, great, we have nothing but fighters. Okay, sure, we can do this. So no support, no nothing, just fighters. And I'm like, I'm not a fighter, I'm a samurai. There's a difference. Or whatever it was. I think it was like a knight or something.
You don't need a healer if you kill things fast enough.
I mean, that was not true in 3.5.
Hey Alex, welcome. We're talking about clerics, your class that you're playing in Strahd.
Because in 3.5, every fight was like a fight to the death. Like there was no like, oh, okay, just brush them off kind of. No, it was like every fight was, we were like had like that much health left. Maybe it was just us. It could have been, we could have been really bad at the game.
Well, if you were playing with old fighters, yeah, it's probably you guys.
No, I'm talking about even later on. Like every fight was like, I am like 3 steps away from death's door.
Jesus
kind of
Christ.
A deal. So anyways, in 5e, what they did, with the natural healing system in 5e, you know, you have short rests and you spin your hit dice plus your con modifier, and then on a long rest, everything just comes back up. So what that does is that the cleric, that really frees up the cleric. So now they can really like rip into enemies and stuff like that, or do whatever they want to do. Like you can actually invest in your domains now.
Oh yeah, and some of these domains are pretty badass. I mean, I'm playing right now a life cleric for Out of the Abyss, and even I'm like really focusing on support because we have a barbarian. But even just doing that is really enjoyable for me, you know, because I still do damage and I still have done more damage than the barbarian sometimes because of the dice rolls. I'm not just limited to healing.
Life cleric is hands down the best healer in the game.
Oh yeah.
Like nothing's going to come close to it, especially for that level. What's it? 18? Is it level 18? No, level 17 feature where it's like you heal and you heal for the maximum amount that you can.
The max number on that die.
Yep. So it's just I'm going to heal at like third level, you get those 18 hit points back, no problem. Don't worry about it. And plus your wisdom modifier, of course.
And you get heavy armor.
Heavy armor. Well, actually, the funny thing is that clerics were proficient in heavy armor in 3.5.
Oh, really?
But then, yeah,
for some reason, I thought they were like, just regular clerics. I thought that was a 5e thing.
Light, medium, heavy. Then they only get simple weapons. And then depending on whatever domain you pick, you don't get martial weapons unless you're a war domain. I could be wrong.
Yeah, there's two: the war domain and the other one, the one with the animals. Nature? No, Tempest. Sorry, not the animals. The Tempest domain.
Well, I was talking about 3.5. In 3.5, whenever you picked the domain, you were proficient in whatever the weapon that your god represented was. So, like Saint Cuthbert, I believe, was one of the gods, and he was proficient with a spear. So now you're proficient with a spear, like that kind.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it was neat, and I kind of wish they brought the deity aspect back, because you had to be in alignment that was one step away from your deity's alignment.
Huh.
So like the 3x3 grid of alignment. So say your god is lawful good, you can either be neutral good or lawful neutral or lawful good. If you're if you're lawful evil, you lose your divine powers.
Right. So I would have been fucked and Strahd.
A little bit.
What would have been the rules if you lost your alignment?
I believe you just lose your cleric powers, just like straight up, just like nope, you're not a cleric.
So you're
anymore.
just like you're just a fighter.
By the way, because there's something like if you grossly go against your deity or something like that.
By the way, Heather's live, and she says that they went to jug and bottle without you.
Oh, that's fine. I'll go without them.
Payback.
Okay, so there's a section that says ex-cleric. I'm going to read it because this is like a sentence. It says, a cleric who grossly violates the code of conduct expected by his god, generally acting in ways opposed to the god's alignment or purposes, lose all spells and class features and cannot gain levels of the cleric as of that god until he atones. That's it.
And the atonement will be like a quest, like a quest line.
Yep. So now you're just a cleric. I mean, now you're just a fighter that's proficient with simple weapons. Yay!
Jesus, that's brutal, dude.
Yeah, 3.5 didn't fuck around.
I'm kind of happy that I started with 5 right now. Gee.
I am too, but this was the equivalent of like walking uphill in the snow both ways to go to school.
Right, you can say that you went through that.
Yeah,
and I was like, nah, bitches, I started with 5. I didn't have to do it.
You kids have it so good these days.
You young whippersnappers. Oh man,
don't have to worry about your alignment.
But here's why I personally like the cleric, because when you start reading the classes, I don't think there's a single class that I read and I'm like, I don't want to play that. I mean, not class. Domain.
Yeah, every domain brings a little something to the table, and that's why. Okay, so is our title of our episode up now?
Or what?
Like, can they see what is the title of the episode up? Like, can they see that?
Yes.
There's a reason why we said they're the holiest Swiss Army knife, because it's like, for some reason, okay, let's just say you have your heart set out on playing a cleric. It's session 0. You really want to play a cleric. And everyone's like, okay, I'm going to be a bard, and I'm like, okay, well, you got support time and charisma. Right. We got a rogue. Like, okay, we got stealth, and then we got a wizard. I'm like, okay, well, you need a frontline fighter. going to be War Domain or Tempest or something like
Tempest.
that.
Ooh, Tempest is just like freaking Storm from the X-Men. Like, it's scary. At first I was like, oh, okay. So it's like, you know, lightning and all this stuff. But like later on, you start getting some like really, really intense damage dealing abilities.
Not even later on. At level 2, if you roll for thunder or lightning damage, you can use your channel divinity to max that damage out.
That's insane. That's fucking insane.
Oh, yeah. Like, what's it? Thunderwave. You can max out your damage on Thunderwave, and then later on you get like Lightning Bolt and like Ice Storm and crap like that. Yeah, there was a bunch of times when we were wrapping up Tomb of Annihilation. I'm like, can I switch it? And you're like, no, just stick with it. I'm like, fine.
You made the choice. You see it through.
But even then, even though War Domain is the weakest domain, like
out of all of the ones that are available, yes, I want to say.
Ironically, War Domain is the weakest one.
And they're almost supported in some aspects.
They are, well, they have to be. That's kind of the Cleric. But they can fill in the gap on whatever your party's missing.
Right.
So if you don't have a rogue, you can have the Trickery Domain. Right. They get like a little bit of extra stuff. If you don't have a wizard, and like you can have like is there a knowledge domain? I think. Is it knowledge?
The one that you can like...
Yeah.
Arcane and all that stuff, and like just know things. Essentially, what Heather it is right now with her Warlock.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you can have the knowledge domain if you just need a spell casting like Blasty Boy. You got Tempest. You got Light. You can cast Fireball and Heavy Armor.
I love Light because of
the artwork.
Well, not so much the artwork, but like. The way they describe it is like you're just blinding people left and right. You're just a really bright boy.
And that was kind of because they did have something like that in 3.5. They did have they had a light, fire, and sun. They just kind of what they did was they took all the domains and they boiled it down to these like 8 things. And even still, there's 8 things. So it's really just it's not going to be the best. Like a Cleric is not going to out knowledge a wizard, and it's not going to out stealth a rogue. But
they're pretty good at it.
With its channel divinity and all the other stuff,
I mean, isn't it the trick domain? Can you like freaking disappear? Yeah, Cloak of Shadows at level 6.
Yep, you just straight up become invisible. Like just disappear.
That's a pretty roguish thing to do, if you ask me.
And even then, at level 1 for a trickery domain, you get advantage on stealth checks, which I don't imagine you would probably have. No, of course you wouldn't have heavy armor.
No,
but so on top of these domain features, you get spells that you're otherwise not going to get as a cleric. Right. You know, like
which I like that.
Like Tempest Domain is going to get Call Lightning. You can't get that as a normal cleric, base cleric. But you still get your cleric spells. And your cleric spells, even if you don't pick, for whatever reason, even if you don't pick a domain, without domains, your cleric spells are still really useful.
Yeah.
So yeah, that pretty much wraps up what I think about clerics.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I guess when you think of a cleric, and it's funny because when we tried to find the artwork for a cleric, remember we were doing the episode of clerics in pop culture, mainstream pop culture, and we couldn't find anything about clerics because nothing really represents a true cleric in 5e in pop culture. At least at the moment, we couldn't find any, or not that many.
I mean, we probably could have, but it would have been a stretch.
Yeah.
Because it's because a cleric encompasses so much. They're very religious, but they're also very healing and support. But they can also fight really well.
That's the thing.
Clerics are no slouch in combat.
No, they're not. Because usually when you if you think about video games, when you play a cleric or a Healy or a Healy boy or you're just trying to be a support, you're usually in the back lines and you're waiting for oh, okay, it's time to heal or it's time to bring up the magic shield for everybody or whatever. But no, man, I've been in situations in the Out of the Abyss when I have to hit things with my hammer and I did just fine.
There there's been because I know the image that you're bringing up with the support class, and that's like the white mage from Final Fantasy.
Exactly.
It sits in the back, just heals people. But there's been in Tomb of Annihilation and Curse of Strahd, and like what you said, the cleric is like right there next to the fighter.
You wouldn't think that he's the cleric's support class until they start healing and supporting, and it's up to them.
And even then, because the healing, like the laws of healing in 5e are so lax, like there's one.
Actually, that's like the third one, just so you know.
Is it really?
I was gonna say something.
Can we get like a little burp counter in the corner?
I got you. Hold on.
Next time we need to do
I got
that.
it right now.
Oh, you're gonna pull it up? Okay. So, anyways, fuck, I lost my train of thought. Oh, so because the laws of like natural healing and stuff are so lax in 5e, like while a cleric can do all these things, they can still heal, and it's still incredibly useful because combat healing is like not like nothing to scoff at because there's been plenty of times where that like, hey, maybe that extra 4 health from that prayer healing is all I need to just kind of get me through, so it's still I really appreciate that they didn't backtrack on the healing aspect of it.
No, for sure.
Like if anything, they double down on it,
which is again, I know it's like kind of like a cheap number one for like top class because it can do anything, but like the thing is that a lot of classes can do a lot of things, but they really fall behind on it. But these guys are very good at like they're right there. They're like, okay, they're not as good as a fighter, but they can hold their own. It's not like, oh, which one am I thinking?
Well,
keep going.
Let's compare it to the second best support class that could do everything, the Bard. Like the Bard can do a little bit of everything, but there is going to be faults in it. Like it's not going to have heavy armor. It's not going to, it's not going to have these spells that are going to be attuned to whatever it needs. It's just going to have to, like, if you were to play a Bard and you legitimately want to be a jack of all trades, you can do that, but you're just going to have to be really smart on how you're going to like dispense your skills and stuff like that, and what spells you're going to learn if you're a College of Lore Bard, or you're still going to have to be worried about taking a lot of hits if you're a College of Valor Bard, because even then you only get proficiencies with medium armor. But does the Tempest one get
yes, heavy armor?
They do get heavy armor?
Let me double check real quick.
Yes, you do.
Yep.
Yeah, martial weapons and heavy armor. So already at level 1, your support class can have heavy armor, that's 18 AC, and if they have a shield, which they probably should, that's 20 AC.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry, that's 18 AC with the shield.
Oh, right. I'm thinking of Ryan because he's like level 10 right now.
And if they should get a feat, they should get Warcaster, because then they can use spells as attacks of opportunity, and then you can see some real shit.
Oh, dude! Oh man, that's an excellent combo right there.
Yes, it is.
I think. Oh, look at that! I'm gonna have to add another one to the burp counter.
I did burp.
I did.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. It's our burp
counter. But
play the USSR theme.
But the Cleric, what I love about it is that I keep saying that what I love about the Cleric, but like they can be the best kind of support, which is like pull aggro and take hits because they can.
Yeah, they how many times has the Cleric just like sat there just while the enemy's like king, like on it?
I think
but then at the same time you can be like, okay, all right, fun's over.
Yeah, exactly.
Blow the enemy.
Like when Ryan is not there, I'm always relying on small drags to like take some of the hits because I'm a little bit squishier than he is.
And even then he pops Shield of Faith, and I'm like, well, fuck, now I can't hit him. So, I mean, I'm gonna try, but I can't.
And I always see it in your face when you're like rolling and rolling and rolling, and you don't hit, and you just die inside, very very slowly. Also,
the enemy's gonna retaliate. Never mind.
Hold on. Let's talk a little bit about. Okay, yes, they're great support. We made that point. Let's talk about their damage in spells, because in Tomb of Annihilation, Holy shit, you fucking you. Okay, little bit of a backstory. Tomb of Annihilation, we were playing through Schultz, and Andrew came in a little late. He came in actually towards the end in the Tomb of the Nine Gods, right?
It was like right at the 11th hour.
Yeah, with the level 9 cleric, if I remember correctly.
I'm not entirely. It was either 8 or 9.
It was 8 or 9 or so, and I'm like, yeah, we need a tank essentially. That's what the group needed at the moment. So he's like, okay, I'll be a war cleric, and. He went from being the tank to being the frontliner with freaking not magic weapon. Well, magic weapon was one of them, but
spiritual. No. It was spiritual weapon and spirit guardians. And I legitimately had to read the rules on that because I'm like, this feels like cheating. but spiritual weapon does not require concentration, so I attacked.
Right.
Did the spiritual weapon as my bonus action. Then on my next turn, pop spirit guardians, and it was just like, all right, I'm just gonna set this one out.
And I'm like, there's no way this is true. And I keep like, because if you have a mob of monsters, and the whole party is surrounded by spirit guardian, you have to get through it somehow.
Yeah,
and I just
and the room was built just because it was like that room that was like rotating.
Yeah,
right?
the gears.
Yeah, and it was just big enough to where my spirit guardian goes everywhere. Yeah. I don't mean to brag, but here we go. There was one turn where you're like, okay, Andrew, what are you gonna do? I'm like, I'm just gonna walk forward. Just let my spirit guardians take care.
So you have the cleric in this like super depressing tomb, and like, surrounded by like, how do you imagine? Do you imagine it as it was just
a buzzsaw?
A buzzsaw.
It was a circular saw.
And all because
just like
because the spell is centered on him, and he was just like, I'm gonna walk forward into a tiny little walkway that like get him into another gear room. So like, what do? You just kill what? I don't even remember the monster. It was some like.
It was. I think it was a band of orcs, like a bunch of orcs and an orc war chief.
That's right. It was where the wardrobes were. And every time you open a new wardrobe, it was just a bunch of monsters. Didn't one of them like you open it and like they flew out and they just died because they got hit by the buzzsaw? Oh,
yep.
Glorious.
Yeah, spirit cards immediately took them out.
Well, with Curse's Strahd, didn't was it Small Tracks?
I believe it was. Are you talking about the incident in the
Amber Temple? Yeah.
It was Guardian of Faith. And it was Small Drax and Lilith casted it right as a group of berserkers were running in, and I described it as them just going into the like proverbial woodshed.
It was just a light, and they went through it and it came out in little cubes.
Yeah, they just got juiced on the way through.
And that's why I like the cleric, because they can cause some damage.
Even then, at level 1, they can cast Guiding Bolt, and that's what, 3d6 radiant damage?
2d6 if I remember correctly, because I was going to cast it the other day at level 1.
Yeah, but then you can give it more
juice at level 2 and so forth. Yeah, I think it's one extra. No,
yeah.
It's not. Wait, hold on a minute. It's not a d6.
It is. It's no, I think it's a d8.
D8. That sounds better.
I'm looking into it right now. Guiding Bolt. No, it's 4d6 radiant damage. And the next attack roll made against this target before the end of this turn has advantage thanks to the magical... oh, shit.
Wait, what?
Okay, so it's described as a flashlight.
Yeah.
You shoot someone with a magical beam.
Yeah.
It's 4d6 radiant damage at level 1. And then the next attack on that person has advantage. Because they're lit up. They're literally lit up by radiant damage. And then for every spell slot you increase by, it goes by 1d6.
This is your doctor talking, okay? Your doctor is just doing this kind of damage at level 1.
Just to keep in mind, a fireball does 8d6 damage. I mean, granted, it's against a group of people, but you can do half the damage of a fireball at level 1. At fucking level 1.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Joseph and San Juan liked our page. So welcome to the stream to listen to us talking about nerdy stuff.
Hey, sorry about that.
You're gonna have a great time, I promise.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, I mean, it's really, it's more like what can't a cleric do?
Yeah. Again, it can be part rogue, it can be part druid, it can be part monk. What's the monk one with elements?
The Way of the Four Elements.
Oh, wow.
Way of the Four Elements. Wow,
the
I
Avatar.
really stumbled on that one.
It can be a fighter, part fighter. It can be what else? A knowledge type, like a wizard who knows things and likes books.
Right. Yeah, and they can still do utilities.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yep.
like puzzle solving, and just kind of like stuff you can do.
5. Hold on, I gotta add it.
in a social / dungeon setting. Shut up. I don't know. I just. God, I love
And for what I understand, like they went from being, again, like you said earlier in 3.5, because I don't remember, that's how you got me into 5e. You were just talking about how 5e made every class awesome, but specifically the cleric, because you were really tied to, you're a Healy boy, and that's the best thing you're going to do, and that's what you're going to focus on, because your party actually needs it really hard. And it went from that to the coolest kid in town that can heal, fight, and have utilities if you really wanted to.
The best way I can think of it was that a cleric was always cool, but now the handcuffs are off.
I see.
And it could just like you'd like take the leash off of it and just let it go. Just let him do his thing.
Put down her hair. I got it.
Yeah, let him have his fun. So
what
yeah, I mean,
what are the classes on the Sanitars, the new ones?
I believe it's
Domains.
Forge and
Jesus
Grave
Christ.
Domain.
Grave Domain, that's the one, because that's the one that Small Drugs is playing right now, right? That Alex is playing right now.
Right. And Forge Domain is pretty badass too. Actually, I don't have my Xanathars book. Where is my Xanathars book? It is like.
Is it under your mic?
No, no. Actually, it's out in the living room because I was working on stuff.
Oh wow!
Shut up! I was working on the homebrew adventure.
How unprepared you are? Are you still working on that one?
Of course I am. I mean, yeah, I might have burnt myself out, but I'm not going to stop.
Good. Oh yes, right. The Force Domain, of course. The fucking Force Domain.
I said that. I said
right. I was just trying to remember because I couldn't remember. It's essentially just you're almost like an artificer. Do I dare to say that? one tenth of an artificer there.
Kind of, because at level, I believe it's either level 1 or level 2, you can add an AC, like 1 AC to armor, and I believe that's temporary. Don't quote me on that. But they still get some stuff like naturally you get resistance to fire damage,
obviously,
and while you're wearing naturally they're proficient with heavy armor, and while you're wearing heavy armor you get an extra AC on top of that. So you're looking at level 1. Or is it level 1? No, sorry. At level 6, my bad. But at level 1, you're looking at 18 AC, and then at level 6, 19 AC at the very least.
Damn.
And then if you use that temporary AC, you're looking at 20 AC, which pretty much makes you invincible in 5e.
At level 6? Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, especially at level 6 when you're still fighting, like, I don't know, hobgoblins or some crap, or like werewolves.
Well, I realized that this is an 8.5 alcohol.
Oh. That's okay. I think, yeah, mine's a 7, so we ate.
Well, mine's a pint, and I'm like always done with it. I'm like, wait, what is this affecting me so much?
Oh no, I'm good. I'm not. I had a pretty starchy dinner, so there's a lot to soak it up.
I haven't had dinner yet.
That was your dinner?
That was my dinner. Oh man. Ooh. But yes, clerics are awesome. I'm playing one right now, and I'm playing like the most basic of clerics, and I'm still having a blast. So I can't even imagine like a Grave Domain or Tempest. You know, like my group at the time just needed a support class because our thing right now is that we have the Barbarian, and I'm just like, you know, boosting that Barbarian with everything I have. You know, all the things. Which feels pretty great, but by the same token, like I'm still hitting and giving some damage output too. But I was looking at the Tempest and I was looking at the Light Domain.
The Tempest and Light Domain looks really fun because you're just like sitting just blowing shit up and you're wearing heavy armor. well, the Light Domain is getting heavy armor, but the Tempest one does. That feels unfair That feels unfair that you get so many cool spells and then you get heavy armor on top of that.
And that's why the cleric is number 1 in our list, man.
That is true. The clerics have always been badass, but they really cranked it up for 5e. and I feel like a big reason why they did that, why they did like so much cooler stuff with the cleric, is so that more people could play it.
I guess, yeah.
Because
was it like a big problem in 3.5? Like nobody
really.
wanted to be a healer.
No. We usually had like 1 or 2 people that were like kind of dedicated, be like, okay, I'll play support. It's fine, But it was a real big like you didn't need a cleric, but it was highly recommended that you needed a cleric.
Right.
Or that you have a cleric in your party.
The only experience I have with 3.5, funny enough, is with a video game. Did you ever play Temple of the Elemental of Evil or something like that? Temple of Elemental Evil. It's like a PC game, like the Baldur's Gate type.
Mm-hmm. No, I've never played.
Another I remember that from that game is that I kept dying within the first 5 minutes of the game.
Well, that sounds about right for 3.5.
Because it was all 3.5 rules, and I didn't know what the hell was happening. Because I didn't know about 3.5. I was like, I'm going to say I was like 14, 13 maybe. And I just kept dying. So now I know why. Because I didn't use my cleric.
Well, I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, at that age, 3.5 rules are a lot to chew through.
Well,
I remember I had to dedicate a day to just reading like how to make a character. Not even the rest of it, just how to make a character. And I had my character sheet there, and I was like, okay, we're going to do it step by step.
Yeah. Yeah, I know how it feels like. Because you gave me the book, and I try to read it, and I'm like...
It's a thick read. Yeah. I mean, it's not a very big book. Like, it's really not.
I think it has to do with the formatting of it, like the actual formatting of the book. It makes it very hard to read.
The formatting and how crunchy the rules are by comparison to 5e.
Yeah.
Now, granted, there are way crunchier systems out there. Shadowrun. but still, 3.5 was like...
Was it Travelers?
What? I don't think so. And maybe, could be. But it's like 3.5 was like, hey, do you like math? Do you want more math? Here's Pathfinder. But I mean, there was a lot to soak up when it came to 3.5.
Yeah, and I was just starting college, so I was like, no, I already have enough homework. I am not going to try to read this.
And it did felt like homework, didn't it?
Yeah, yes, it did.
But thankfully with 5e, you can just crank out a character in 20 minutes. It's like, okay, I'm going to use a standard array.
Traveler. It's called Traveler.
Is it? Is that the one that has like the is that the spaceship?
Mm-hmm. Like it's like you randomize the character creation, all that stuff. That sounds like an extremely crunchy freaking RPG.
Is that one of those games? Is that one of those games where your character can die in character creation?
I think so, actually.
Maybe. I have heard of those, and I'm curious as to how that plays out. You're like, well,
I've heard that you can start like a store clerk with like not any abilities and very little money.
I have read. I forget the name of this one system, but it was stupid. Like it was like apparently the rule book was 700 pages long. And it was you could be anybody. Like you could be like a cheesemaker.
We might be talking about Traveler, actually.
I don't think we are. I think we're talking no, because Traveler is respected. The one I'm talking about was like a joke. No, because the one I was talking about was like a joke in the community. Like nobody actually plays this game. like unless you're a masochist.
Well, it's $47.90 right now on Amazon. So I guess they got a new reprint or something.
Do it. Yeah, it reprinted, I want to say last year or the year before that.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Anyways, Clerics. So Clerics.
Anyway, back to Clerics. But yeah, I mean, it's just, again, what can a Cleric do? And I think, going back to the original train of thought from like 20 minutes ago, I think the reason why they did so much cool stuff with Clerics was to make people realize, make people realize that Clerics can do a lot of cool stuff, and also to kind of shed the like fear of support class, like necessity,
right?
Where it's like, hey, don't be afraid to play a support class because they can do cool stuff too.
You're still gonna have fun, I promise.
Yay, Flame Strike, yay.
Bro, I love and hate Flame Strike because when it hits, it's awesome because it's just a freaking cantrip. But most of the time it doesn't hit. I'm just like, why?
Wait, Flame Strike? No. You're thinking of Sacred Flame.
Sorry, I'm thinking of Sacred Flame.
Yeah. Sacred Flame's good, but Flame Strike. Flame Strike is the pillar of holy fire that burns enemies. It's just like, why?
Also,
why do they get fire and radiant damage?
I also love the fact that you can get inflict wounds.
Oh, that was another thing I forgot in 3.5. If you were a good aligned cleric, you can't use inflict wounds because it's evil. Yeah. Or wait, no, that's not true. If you were so say you were a good aligned cleric, and the spell book, you know how it says in the 5e spell book, like, oh, this is a 5th level transmutation, blah blah blah. And the 3.5 or 3rd level spell book, it would say 5th level abjuration, and then in hyphens it would say good, evil, whatever, chaos, lawful. If you were good aligned, you can't use evil spells. If you were evil aligned, you can't use good spells, and the same thing with chaos and lawful.
Really?
So again, even more restrictions in that way. So
was there did the spells specifically dictate that they were good and evil aligned?
Yeah, I can legitimately just pull one up for you right now, because there's one that's called I believe it's called Corrupt Water, or no, it's Destroy Water.
Jesus, that sounds like a great warfare spell.
There was a lot of spells like that where it's just like, what, I'm just going to destroy this water. Yeah. Oh, actually, wait. Here's another good one. It's called Desecrate. All right, it's an evocation spell. It is a cleric level 2 spell, and it's also evil.
Oh,
it says it. Yeah.
5e doesn't have evil or good spells, right?
Nope. It's just here you go. Everything's neutral. Alignment has taken a huge backstep in 5e. Like a gigantic backstep.
I think I like having the restriction of being good versus evil spells.
It's a double-sided sword because it's really cool.
Yeah.
Because alignment can now actually have mechanical properties. However, it does restrict what you can do. So I mean, I wonder
if there's like a good in between.
What do you mean? Maybe
not full restrictions and not full free spells. I don't know. I like the fact because I like role playing the characters and having the restrictions. Because right now I think the only restriction I have is that I will this spell sounds really mean. It doesn't go with my character alignment. That will be the only thing that goes through my mind. But I guess in 3.5 we had a little bit more of a guideline of hey, these are the evil spells if you're gonna spell an evil spellcaster. And these are the good spells if you're going to be a good spellcaster. I kind of want to try that.
And there's a boiled down version as a class feature called spontaneous casting, where if you are a good aligned cleric, you can forego one of your spells to use Cure Wounds instead. So you don't have to have Cure Wounds memorized. You just have it because you're good aligned, it's part of your faith. Inversely, if you're evil aligned, you can forego one of your spells to use Inflict Wounds.
Ooh.
So you don't have to memorize that because you're evil, you can Inflict Wounds instead.
I kind of dig that.
So, right, that was really cool. So you're don't worry about memorizing Cure Wounds because if you're a good aligned, you always have it on you. I would like to have something like that. Maybe not in 5e, but if 6th edition ever comes out. Before 2020 claims us all.
What are you talking about? 2020 is the greatest year ever.
Anyway, I would say a good 3-strike rule would be a good medium, where it's you're a good aligned cleric, but here is Desecrate, for instance. That was an evil spell, and you're okay, I can't use this, but or maybe another a really good damaging spell, but it's considered evil because I don't know, it puts a curse on the person. you're like, okay, but my back's against the wall. I have to use this. Like, this is the ripcord. I got to pull it.
Right.
You know, and then I'll just spend the next 8 hours saying Hail Mary or some crap like that to like cleanse myself. And your god's like, okay, that's 1. You got 2 more. You know, until I'm out of this like deal. Something like that. I think that'd be like a
that's
good like
cool homebrew if everybody agrees on it. A homebrew rule, I mean.
Right, but then you would have to. That also involves you going through the spells. Be like, is this evil? Is this good? You know.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, it is what it is.
I say that out loud, but I'm thinking like, man, every time I use inflict wounds, it's like the most damage output I can do.
Inflict wounds is it's like what, like 3d8?
It's crazy. It's like pretty powerful
at level 1. Yeah, and it's
3d10 at first level cleric spell, and at second level or higher, you increase it by 1d10.
Yep. You can pump it up. But yeah, that feels like it should be an evil spell. Weirdly enough, it's not an evil spell in the book, but you know what I mean.
Oh, and 3.5 is not evil?
No, it's just considered a spell because it's like, because I don't think they had Guiding Bolt in 3.5, so it's like we need to get something. Right. We need to give the cleric something to, you know, for damage purposes.
Essentially the opposite of healing.
Yeah, it literally is. Like, you just like all the wounds open back up on that person. And like that spring they had from like 3 weeks ago comes back. So.
Oh man, I want to roleplay like that next time. It's just like all scars just open up.
Oh
yeah. Your wisdom teeth start bleeding again.
No, your wisdom teeth grow back and then they become impacted.
Take that, bitch. What did I do to you, man?
Like that toenail like becomes ingrown really quick. Like, oh!
Give me a knife, I need to get it out.
Just cut it off.
If you keep doing that, I will never like. Oh man.
But yeah, I mean, we can have we could probably have a whole episode just talking about alignment and why it's like the big mechanical purposes of it. But you know, it's just like I said, it took a big backseat in 5e.
Okay, so Steven, you remember Steven from high school? Yeah, he says, I love clerics as opposed to how they're traditionally viewed. They can easily be your tankiest, burstiest frontliners in built property. If built properly, sorry. I can't read.
Not even if you build them properly. Even if you have an unoptimized build, you can still do a bunch of cool shit with them.
Yeah, by the way, hi Steve. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah, he posted earlier today a picture of his new computer build. Congratulations, it looks really nice. Ooh. LEDs everywhere.
Of course.
But yeah, you're right. You don't have to build them properly either. They just like automatically start like being super tanky.
I mean, I had a human war domain cleric. It was like the worst build. It was still pretty good.
It also had some serious damage, man. Either that or I'm a really shitty DM, but like you were killing like everything in that freaking dungeon.
No, like I said, I made sure I'm like, this feels like cheating. This feels like cheating that I'm using spiritual weapons and spirit cards at the same time. It's like,
no, he played out.
No concentration on spiritual weapon. Just have fun. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah. No, yep. That's why I like when you play that cleric, I was like, yeah, no, he was right about cleric. Like I know they call them support classes, but they're not necessarily attached to that title.
They're the most offensive support classes you'll ever meet.
I'll heal you, but I'm gonna punch you in the face too if you don't stop. It's more like the cleric has to look back from his point of the battlefield. Like, oh, I gotta heal people. It just like trudges out of the fight. Like, hold on, I'll be right back. I gotta complete my role. Steve says, I'm super chill as a cleric. I play Grave Domain and just bonus actions spared to dying all the time. Hey.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's what Moldrax is doing all the time too. He's always pulling that up. Like, I'm gonna use
spare the dying.
Yeah, spare the dying. But to be fair, we're level 10 now, so it's really hard for us to die. Well, except for my character.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is really hard to kill you guys. you fuckers.
dude, you're playing with us, not against us, okay?
I could drop a tactical nuke on you guys and you'll just be like, yeah, it's alright. Not enough gun.
Bro, you gave us the blessings, okay?
And I regretted it.
If I would have been you, I probably would have been like, oh, you left the temple, they're all gone now, you're not back to normal.
No, like I said, there are some time limits on some of them, so
okay.
do them while you can.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. we're spending a lot of time in those what is it, like, what, the basement? Is it a basement? I don't even know where we are.
I believe you're in the
catacombs, yeah.
You spent 2 whole sessions in like a 30 by 30 room.
Opening all the doors and almost dying every time.
Oh, man.
I still love the fact. Well, we'll get to that later on in the episode. Yeah. But no. I mean, other than. Okay, because you did this for me last time. Explain to me, like I'm a 5-year-old, the spellcasting for clerics.
It's really simple, actually. All there is. There's a table in the beginning that says cantrips known and spells known. And actually, hold on, wait a second, because I believe the spells that you know, there is a certain number. Yeah, so it's your wisdom modifier plus your cleric spell. That's how many spells you can prepare, and that's it. Just pick from the cleric. Like, look down the cleric list, because the justification is that all of your spells are,
faith-based,
given to you by your god. Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, hey, I really need inflict wounds today. Your god's like, okay. so I mean, there's no spell book. There's none of that. You just like, hey, I can prepare this many spells. Cool. And then you have X amount of spell slots. That's it. Super simple. So it's not, there's no, the spells you know are the spells you have.
Right.
Like, they're not ingrained. You can switch them out after a long rest, just, anytime. So
yeah, so that's it.
Always prepared.
Okay. you just have to pray really hard.
I mean, there's obviously some spells you're going to want to keep on you at all times, like probably cure wounds and inflict wounds, and maybe some other stuff. Some other healing / support stuff. But then other than that, you're pretty much freed up to be like, hey, this looks cool. I'll give this a shot.
Yeah.
Mend into stone or meld into stone, rather.
Which at level 3, how many? Because I'm at level 3 cleric right now, and I have a lot of spells already.
So if you're a level cleric,
4 first level
cleric,
and 2 second level.
Yeah.
And then 3 non cantrips.
Those are your spell slots.
Right.
You have 4 first level, 2 second level.
Right.
But what's your wisdom modifier? Do you remember offhand?
Wisdom modifier is 5.
Your wisdom modifier is 5?
Yeah, my wisdom is 20.
Okay, so you're level 3.
So actually, level 4. Sorry.
So then you can know 9 spells.
Yeah.
So go through the cleric list. You got 9 spells to pick from. Obviously, you can't do anything above the spell slots that are available to you, so you can't have any 3rd level spells ready. But through 1 and 2, pick 9 out. That's it. Super, super easy. It's not nowhere near as complicated as the wizards. So
yeah,
but that's because the clerics got their own thing to deal with. So
Steven says, imagine a cleric going to use cure wounds on a poor civilian, has a brain fart on this on the somatic movement, and accidentally casts inflict wounds. Let me heal you, my son. Oh shit!
That would be a lot better if you're going by 3.5 rules and you're like, I'm going to use spontaneous cast and heal this person. Wait, shit, I'm evil.
Wait, that's not what I wanted at all. Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's just blood. What did I do?
I was trying to do good, man. Yeah, with the hands. Filled with blood. Oh, man. Oh, Jesus Christ.
But naturally, you can still have like ritual spells and stuff. And the neat thing about it is that they said that your spellcasting focus can be on your shield. So you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, it can be a part of your shield or like your weapon.
Oh, that's like cool. That. Like, just as an example, you have like your amulet. Not your amulet. Is it an amulet? Is that what it's called?
It could be an amulet. It could be an amulet. It could be like a talisman. It could be like anything.
Put it down on your shield. Like, it's just like that's pretty cool. That's badass.
Yeah. So yeah, I distinctly remember in Tomb of Annihilation, my my weapon was my spellcasting focus because it had like a little mini gauntlet of Torm holding the hammerhead. So,
I think I really remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, there's neat little things where and it's like it's kind of like, look, we know you're gonna have a shield, just put it on your shield.
Yeah. Right. So. Another thing about I love about clerics though. Oh wait, no, I just said a brain fart. Sorry.
That's okay. Take your time. That's why we're live.
Yeah, no. So I was thinking, I confused it with the orc. Do you know how in the paladin, the artwork in the book is an orc?
Yes.
Yeah. And here's it's a dwarf.
No,
which is, I mean, it's
a dwarf.
Yeah.
That's pretty how it's kind of always been.
Yeah.
You know, like, all right, give the people what they want.
The bulky dwarf with the big heavy armor, healing people, and like being the wise one, I guess you could say. But
so. Actually, I'm trying to look exactly where it said because I do distinctly remember saying you can have your focus on like I think it was on your shield specifically. Hold on. Shut up, Casey. Whatever.
Dude,
I'll look for
I think you need to change your battery on your fire detector.
Yeah, no, it's a CO2 detector.
All right, well, I guess it's just me now for the rest of the episode.
It's just dead air on my end.
And somehow I don't change out the layout on the overlay. It's still just an empty camera.
Died on stream. Doing what he loved, talking about stupid shit.
Oh man. Anything else on the cleric though?
No, I the only thing is that I kind of wish they would involve like their deities a little bit more.
Kind of like the warlock.
Some sort of mechanic that like you said, like a soft medium for like the 3.5 mechanic of like alignment. Because it's like it's kind of weird to be like a like chaotic evil paladin for Holiest who's like lawful good.
Yeah.
Like how can he justify that? And like in 5e it's like, well, you should probably be your alignment of the deity you're gonna pick, but you
don't have to.
Just do your own thing.
I can appreciate it though. Like it gives people freedom to do whatever the hell they want. But at the same token, I'm just like having a little bit of more of a structure by rules might give you a better role playing head start as a player.
I will say I had never seen it as a restriction in 3.5. I saw it just more as like guidelines. Like
guidelines. Okay, that's the word.
Right. Yep. If I wanted to be this alignment, I have these guys to pick from, or these, kind of so like it felt more like training wheels for role playing, if anything. So like I never saw it as big of a restriction as like I probably made it out to be earlier. I just thought it was more of a neat thing. It's not like the paladin thing where the second you like accidentally stomp on a puppy's foot, like, oh, that's it, you lost all your paladin powers. You're
just a really shitty fighter now.
Yeah, I mean, it was really the cleric was just like pick an alignment, but you need to vaguely stick with that alignment. Mm-hmm. Like you're not boxed into one, but you do have to be relatively close to whatever deity you're picking. So it's whatever. There's a lot more wiggle room than like a paladin had in 3.5.
Yeah. No, I mean I kept saying it. We both agree with it every time. Clerics are just very versatile in 5e.
And like I said before, they're not going to outdo whatever they're filling in the gap for, but it is a damn close second.
Right, exactly. Because that's a good way to look at it. Because let's say like your party just doesn't want to be. Nobody wants to be a superclass. Nobody wants to be the Healy boy, right?
And that's fine. That's completely fair.
Right, but then as a DM, you can just be like, hey, listen. So you don't have to be a superclass. You can be a cleric and do Tempest. Not Ward, but like maybe Light Domain.
War's still not bad.
Right.
It's just kind of like prepare yourself to be a little under.
Right, but if you want to be offensive base, but then still have like the healing aspect of it, you can play. You can play the. Okay, hold on a second. Just lost my train of thought. If you don't want, if your party doesn't want to be, if nobody in your party wants to be a support class, as a DM, you can encourage for them to play a cleric, which still, because let's say it's like a meat grinder scenario, and that they're gonna need some sort of healing, and nobody,
like the Tomb of Horrors,
like the Tomb of Horrors type situation. Actually, no, because
even at 5e, it's fucking brutal.
Hold on, because Tomb of Horror doesn't even you're low in health. No, it's like, you're dead. Sorry. Like, why? Because you touched this specific painting on the wall.
Yeah, why didn't you touch it? It has arrows saying you should touch it, but why did you touch it? It's called reverse psychology. You know what? No, you deserve this.
Right. No, but
which brick did you touch? Did you touch the third from the left? No, you're supposed to touch the second from the left. Rocks fall, everyone dies.
We need to make an episode about Tomb of Horrors, by the way. Anyways, but Tomb of Annihilation had a meat grinder scenario, and if they wanted to play that and it didn't have a healer support class, it would have been a lot harder. It would have been to the point that it's not fun to do it.
Right.
So I would have been like, hey, try this. You hit hard. You look at all the spells you can have right at level 3, level 2, but you still have access to all the nice healing spells for the rest of your party.
Well, I think a lot of that is alleviated when what I said before, last week. A lot of that's alleviated by the fact that almost every class in some way, shape, or form has some way of healing themselves. Right.
But in the heat of battle?
No, in the heat of battle, you still need that cleric.
Yeah, exactly.
So whip out that cure wounds. I mean, granted, a bard or a druid can do it, but a life domain cleric can do it better.
Exactly. And in my example is, I just assumed that everybody was a fighter and a rogue and a ranger, an arch. What is it? Magic? Arcane archer fighter instead of a ranger, because nobody plays a ranger. Get away from the ranger.
Hey, Gloomstalker and Horizon Walker.
Okay, you're right. Okay. I'm sorry, I forgot we already went over this. Yeah, you're right.
Don't make fun of Ranger fans. There's literally dozens of us.
Yeah. So that's all for Clerics. Andrew, do you have any session highlights? What happened to my camera? There you
go. Focus.
I know. Focusing.
Session highlights. I really enjoyed the part where Howard's router blew the fuck up. No. My R.I.P. Howard's router.
I know, right?
No, my session highlight, and this is going to be me sounding like a sadist, but well, here we go. I'm the DM. I get to say these things. When it's your turn to DM, you can say these things too. My session highlight was when you guys opened up Patrina's tomb. And it was the second that door's open, you hear a banshee wail and Constitution rolls. All right, you're dead. 0 health. And they're just like, what? and one was the rogue. And they were like, oh, I'm gonna use my uncanny dodge. And there was me and at least I want to say you and Howard, you can't uncanny dodge.
That's me. No, that's not gonna work. I'm sorry.
No. There's no damage. It just says, do you make it? No, 0.
What I love about that was that my character keeps opening all the doors because he wants to find out what's behind all the doors, right?
To be fair, Small Jax is also kind of curious too. So,
but
everyone else just
yeah. Especially Heather. She's just she's so traumatized by dungeons, and I did a good job. And
you ruined it for me.
No, I'm sorry.
I need an unseasoned group, a fresh group to throw them into the the mulcher for that.
And the whole time I'm having the worst luck opening doors. Every time I open a door, something bad happens, And then for the longest time, I don't open any doors. I let everybody else open it. And then
there has been at least 3 times alone, I can say, in the past 2 sessions, you open a door and something immediately jumped out.
But then I stopped. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let other people do it. And then for a while, people kept opening doors, and
and they opened up all the ones that had no friends behind them. So you're okay, I'm gonna open this one. I just realized that as soon as you said it, because it's so true. Every time Small Jax opens the door, it's fine. It's just a tomb with some gold. Yay!
Yeah, right.
But every time you open a door, it's a guy with a gun. It's ready to shoot.
And I love that Heather is just Lilith goes down. She's like, "Fuck you, Vesemir," as she's dying.
With my last breath, I spit it.
Oh man.
Oh man,
that was brutal. I did not expect that to happen so fast.
That and the shocked silence of you go down to 0 health, and just everyone's just like
dumbfounded face, just like what happened.
I mean, and to be perfectly fair, the DC was not that high, so I'm like, everyone's gonna make this, but nope, we had 2 people that did, and I was like,
deep down, you enjoyed it, you monster.
And it's not well, yeah, but it was more like the probability of a Banshee's Wail taking out you guys was really low, you know, and it's just like even if it takes out one, I still want this to be like a threat, because like a Banshee's Wail can nuke a party if everyone rolls really bad. Yep. So it's just like and this kind of brings in the whole like shock and like horror aspect back, where it's like, no, even though you guys have these godly powers, like,
you will still go down
out there. Yeah, there's still things out there, man.
I think.
And then you immediately stab it in the mouth and it died.
I think my session highlight was early on. It wasn't last session; it was the session before that. So we are in the catacombs of Castle Ravenloft, and we're opening. Is
this the coffin story?
Yeah, we're opening all the. There's a bunch of doors. We open all the doors very slowly. We find some stuff or whatever, and then for one of them, we open a door, and Strahd's horse just flies out.
Oh, I was thinking of something else. Oh yeah, you're on.
And then it doesn't even get like 5 feet away from the door when everybody just jumps in and destroys it.
It tries. It tried. It really did.
We all just like we was it even a round? We just destroyed that horse.
I don't even think we got to the end of the initiative count. I think it got one turn because it rolled really good on its initiative, and it managed to like attack, and it started to. No, actually, no. We didn't even get past initiative because I forgot the attack of opportunity killed
Right,
it.
That's right. He tried
because they tried to fly. They tried to fly past you guys.
But we can all fly.
And you're just like. And everybody started cutting it up, and it like just right through the grinder. So,
but what I love about it is because like through the whole adventure so far, every time Strahd shows up, fucking that horse is there too. I'm like, oh, I see this. I'm like, we took it down. I'm like, I'm gonna take its head and carry it with me so I can show it to Strahd.
Yep. He loved that horse.
He loved. That's the key word.
because it said flowers grew wherever he stepped or some crap.
Wait, did it really?
Yeah, that's what it said. It's like here lies Bucephalus, flowers grew wherever your hoof steps fell or something like that. Like it was like a really like touching, like sweet like memorial for it. And you guys just immediately turned him into glue.
Hey, he surprised us, man.
That's true. He did. He tried to attack.
He startled us. Oh man.
So I thought you were going to talk about the part where you climbed into Strahd's father's casket and got yeeted through that curtain of light. I thought that's what you were going to be talking about.
I completely forgot about that. Okay.
just the sheer desecration. It's like, I mean, granted, most of the group is evil by now, so I shouldn't be like surprised. It's just like,
so a little bit of backstory here. My character was not evil the whole time. He just happened to turn.
You were a cinnamon roll this entire time.
Yeah, and then and then I got blessed with chaotic evil apparently, and the whole time I'm just like, I don't like to play this, man. It feels really uncomfortable. It's like it's just not something I do when I play video games. I just don't play the bad guys. I always play the hero, all the stuff. And then Andrew's texting me. He's like, dude.
And I was like, let the hate go through you.
Pretty much. He was like, dude, just try it. Just think of it as a role-playing exercise.
Yeah, like just have fun with it. I fucking regret that. I realized we went too far when you guys legitimately murdered that dude in the Amber Temple. Like that was not a fight. Where you just smacked the guy, snapped his neck, and then just stabbed him while he was still down. Like that was like I may have taken this too far.
To be fair, I forgot that I was that strong when I slapped him. I legit forgot. I thought it was just gonna be like a regular slap.
You had a +7 strength modifier. And that was the moment I was like, my God, what have I done?
Anyways, so we make it to Strahd's catacombs, right? We come in and like the first one we see is two caskets and then this veil of magical light.
Because you guys came in through like a secret entrance.
Right, so secret entrance through the back.
Yeah.
And the veil, things that were not... Well, first things first, we started investigating the caskets.
You guys at that veil was like fucking Benny Hill, man. I'm like, it's like, what if I walked backwards?
Yeah, we try every possible thing. But even before that, we get to the room and there's the caskets and it says, what was it? It was Strahd's mom and dad, right?
Yeah, it was King Barav and Queen Ravenova.
Right. And everyone's like, oh man, they're like, you know, like the king and queen. And I'm just like, I opened the casket.
Yeah, what's in here? What is it? They got any good shit? You and Smalljack start pilfering through the casket.
For some reason, our warlock is the only one that's still good. And she's just like, guys, don't desecrate. I'm like, oh, look at this. What's under the...
Yeah, there's got to be something here. There's got to be a bunch of cool shit. It's like, no, nothing. It's literally, it's the remains. This is a casket.
So Lilith, the warlock, manages to convince us to put everything back into the casket. We're like, okay, whatever. You know, we leave it alone.
No, she doesn't.
Let's try. Well, I was like, let's try to get across, right? And then we can't get past the veil. I was like, what the fuck? But we noticed that like non-physical objects get past non-organic objects get past the veil. And I'm like, okay. We throw a couple things to go through. It's like, So I tell the fighter and I tell the cleric, all right, guys.
By the way, everyone has 25 strength.
Yeah, I'm like...
so everyone's super strong.
I have an idea. And I walk up to the casket, open it.
You dump the body out.
I dump the remains and then just throw myself in the casket, close it, and from inside I'm just like, okay, throw me across the room now.
And the worst part about it was that the casket clatters down the stairs and you pop right back up where you were. And you're face down, you're like, did it work?
And the casket is like the loudest noise and just destroyed everything. And it's just a fucking mess.
You desecrated a king's coffin for no reason.
Who figured it out anyways? I don't even remember.
It was when you guys figured it out that, like, because Rictavio just walked right through it. He's like, I don't see what the problem was here.
Oh, right.
And you're like, oh, it's got to be like this kind of a thing. And you surmise that it was like the veils falling from the spear, so you just broke the spears.
Right.
So we spent, and you were trying to like push the statues and stuff like that. I'm like, it's solid brass. They're 30 feet tall and solid brass. Even with your freak strength, you're not going to be able to push.
Because we're all beefy boys. So like, okay, the smart one, the warlock Lilith, she's like, she asked the DM, she's like, what is the spear made of? And Andrew's like, wood or something, right? Can I break it? And he's like, yeah, if you attack, you can break it. Before he finishes that sentence, Ryan and all right, we're gonna try to pull this statue down.
30-foot solid brass.
They weren't strong enough. And then Lilith is just like, guys, we can just break the staff. And I'm like, I can't hear you. Just pulling the freaking statue. Jesus, what a fucking mess. Eventually she broke it and we were like, okay, fine, we'll get that.
The shenanigans with the teleportation stuff outside of that one room was pretty cool too, where everyone like kept popping into like a casket or something like that.
Oh, the one outside?
Yeah.
Oh, my dog is being loud.
Right when you unmute it.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, right when I unmuted, she barks.
Like, you son of a bitch.
Oh man. No, but that was good. Oof, man.
God, that was some stupid, some wackiness.
All right, hold on a second, because we got pizza and the dog's gonna go crazy. Entertain everybody, Andrew. It's your job.
No, absolutely not. I'm not. No,
we're live, Andrew. Do it.
What am I gonna do?
All right, I'm back.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you for putting me on the spot like that.
That was the session highlights. Any news that you have from the gaming world?
So we found out some things. It's sponsored by Pizza Hut, by the way. We found out some. No, nobody out pizzas the Hut. Like have like the logo like plastered on the. Was it Chris Perkins or just the D&D writing team that gave us like a little insider on what's going to be in Rime of the Frostmaiden? Remember that tweet that you sent me?
That was Chris Perkins.
Was it Chris Perkins?
Oh no, that was D&D Beyond. It was a video with the recap. I remember now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull that up. I'm gonna have to.
Yes.
If you can pull it up quick, if you can pull it up quicker than I do it.
Probably not. So I was browsing through Facebook and D&D. I didn't watch the video. I'm gonna be honest with that. Because there was
I didn't
a bunch of crap going on. But I just had a little recap of all the new things in the book. The new book.
Okay. Yeah, I have it here.
The Frostmaiden Scorn or whatever the fuck it's called.
Add one to the burp counter.
Oh, I got it. Don't worry.
Actually, add two because I sneaked in a couple there.
At least you're honest.
Okay. So in the tweet, actually, is this tweet? Whatever. In the D&D Beyond thing, it said that it's going to be 50 plus brand new monsters.
Brand new monsters.
Over 26 terrifying locations and 320 pages of modern horror.
Modern horror. What?
Pre-order Icewind Dale, the Rime of the Frostmaiden on D&D Beyond for $29.99.
$29.99. It's sponsored by D&D Beyond. Use our affiliated code. I wish.
Yeah, use our sponsor code Attack of Opportunity 426JKIL. That's like this really long, like randomly generated. Like, wait,
it's like a CD key.
Hold on a second.
Beautiful. But yeah, no, it calls my attention. Obviously, the new monsters, because even I think like the news, every book that I've had, it's only like I'm gonna say like 10 or 12 new monsters, perhaps, or modifications of previous monsters.
Yeah, I think. Well, that might be the loophole that they're going for, where it's like, aha, this is a frost orc, you know. So
I hope
like,
not. They say brand new monsters.
It might be. I mean, really, at the end of the day, a lot of monsters are just kind of like glorified reskins.
Yeah, that's true.
Kind of a thing. Like, hey, give them this effect instead of whatever. So, I mean, it's like there is tons of components they can take out, put back in, and interchangeable parts. Any idea? Any ideas of what you want?
Oh man,
in the book in terms of monsters.
I mean, it's gonna be up in the cold, man. It has to be.
There's gonna be a lot of cold monsters.
Just put frost in front of everything. A frost orc, a frost troll, a frost gnome.
Is
a brain freeze, otherwise as an intellect devourer.
A frost method. Wait, no, there is already a ice method. Shit.
Is there a frost dragon? There's no frost dragon, right?
Yeah, there's a white dragon.
Yeah,
but
it's just.
Oh, okay. If you mean a dragon made purely of ice, no, there's no.
There you go.
There's no like ice.
There you go.
What?
So that means that we're gonna get a frost dragon.
No, that's what a white dragon is. It's
a white dragon. This is a frost dragon. That's number 49.
Oh, also, I believe a silver dragon also has cold breath. So, but no, seriously, getting back on topic. I think it'd be really neat. Is there a gelatinous cube that does frost
ice?
damage?
I think so, actually.
Ah, shit. Because I was thinking like an Ice 9 situation where it's like a gelatinous cube that when it touches water, like it freezes that water.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, and it kind of like expands the freezing sort of deal. But no, other than that, I could see like there being like a frost troll or something like that.
Those are pretty classic, though.
Yeah, where it's something where it's like fire damage doesn't hurt it as much. Aha! Pull the sneaky on you, you know. You know, or maybe there's like a. Well, here's the thing. I'm going to pull back the curtain here a bit.
All right.
There's actually a monster in Curse of Strahd. And you're past this point, so don't worry about it. There's a monster in Curse of Strahd. It's called the Frostmaiden.
Really?
And yep. And what it was that it was a banshee reskin that instead of doing necrotic damage, it just did cold damage. I was literally like, that's all it was. But they were called Frostmaidens. So maybe they'll like take that aspect and like expand upon it.
I wonder if there's going to be any frost giants.
I would be shocked if there's not like a big boss frost giant. Like I know they have the frost giant in Volo's guide. That's like the bigger frost giant, but there's like the biggest frost giant. You know.
I know, and if you run it for our group, and Harshnag shows up, we got to talk about that. Because Harshnag is a staple NPC that comes up in almost every campaign except for Waterdeep so far, and our players love it.
Oh, okay.
It's like a really friendly frost giant that hunts other giants.
I will say this: if I'm running it and Harshnag does come up, I will never fucking tell you because I want that to be like a end of session reveal, like "ha ha" to be continued.
That'll be awesome. I'll be really happy.
So, so that's what I'm thinking. Like a freezing gelatinous cube. That'd be pretty cool. Unless there's already something like that exists, and maybe
is there any like frost elves, snow elves?
There is the winter Eladrin and Mordekainen's, but they're not actually snow elves. They're beings that exist in the Feywild, and the season dictates what mood they're in. So like summer's happy, spring is like, you know.
Oh, I remember them. Yes, we talked about these guys. Yeah,
and winter's like depression. Right. So there is winter Eladrin, but they're not cold. They're just flavored. You know, they're sad.
Need to listen to some My Chemical Romance to feel better.
They need them to listen to more Bullet for My Valentine. Get them out of that. No, they need to drink more water and exercise.
Go outside, damn it. Get some sunlight.
Yeah, you're essentially a plant with emotions. So, no, that would be cool if they had like. I imagine that they'll probably do like a frost elf, like a frost dwarf. I want.
It has to be because like there is the Little Red Red, like I told you before. It's right. There's dwarves up there. There's gnomes. There's a lot of water too. So maybe a water genasi.
Maybe like a frost triton kind of a thing.
That'd be cool.
I would actually be really curious to see if they have any sort. Oh, you know what? I didn't even think about that. They could have a what's the word I'm looking for? Not banshee. It's a it was on the tip of my tongue. It was a Native American monster, and it was like a cautionary tale against cannibalism
for the kids, right?
Yeah, actually. Oh God, what is it? It's like a monster that like exists out in the cold and in the wild, and like all they do is eat. Like they're super hungry all the time, and they're like cursed with it.
Oh man.
Until Dawn had those as their enemies. Oh God, like that was a monster in Until Dawn. Hold on. Oh my god.
Wendigo?
No, Wendigos. Yes.
These things are terrifying.
Yes, they are. And they're mostly associated with mountains and stuff like that because the folklore is that these are people that would have died due to the elements, and they ate their own kin to survive, and because of that, they were cursed to become Wendigos that were, you know, forever hungry and whatnot. No matter how much they ate, they cannot satiate their hunger. Weirdly enough, completely missing out of every single monster manual, despite the fact that it is a well-known and like
I'm just looking at some of the pictures, and this gave me chills. And
terrifying.
And they're talking about new modern horror. I will love that.
Yeah, I think a Wendigo, and probably some form of like new Yeti or something like that would fit perfectly with the elemental like horror aspect of it. Because they did say horror, I imagine it's probably gonna be some sort of undead.
Yeah.
Like a frost ghost.
Frost ghost.
frost everything.
Do you guys feel a cold spot? Yeah, we're in the fucking snow.
Yeah, it's like negative 13 degrees Fahrenheit. I would actually be worried if we found a warm spot. I think maybe like a bigger Rimiraz would be neat.
That'd be cool. Dude, Rimiraz are great.
Yeah.
Did I tell you about the story about how my characters killed it in one go?
No.
So they were in this...
Rimirazes are unfair too, by the way.
No, check this out. they were in a temple. We were playing Storm King's Thunder, and they go into this room where the Reminisces is there, right? And the encounter starts, and I'm like, yes, I got this, right? Because like they're like start shooting it and whatever with like fire, and like fire doesn't affect it. And they're like, wait, what? What do you mean there's no fire? Because, you know, they're described as like, they look like cold monsters.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. They're described as having like icy spines.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like that. And
they were like so confused by it. So this is exactly how it happened. My Heather, I can't remember what character she was playing. A monk. She was playing a monk. I gave her beans of magic beans, and she throws one. She like fuses it with water and mud, and she throws it at the head of the Reminisces. I roll for it, and a statue, like a massive statue of Heather's character, shows up in her head and protrudes out of the Reminisces. And the statue is animated and starts insulting the Reminisces, right? So this like incapacitates the Reminisces for a little bit. And then I think Alex was playing a bard. He creates a bubble. I forgot the name of the spell. It's like nothing can get out, nothing can get in. And traps the Reminisces in it, right? And then I like to think that it was Heather again. She starts summoning water inside of the bubble and fills it up to the brim with water, starting to drown the Reminisces. The Reminisces can dig, so I'm like, I'm gonna get out of this one, right? She starts digging, but then the big old statue that's like stuck in her head prevents her from digging her way out of it, and they drown her in 10 rounds. They just sit outside waiting for her to drown.
Wow.
I was waiting for that encounter for a while, and they just like do that to me, and I'm like, guys, you suck.
Well, I mean,
I gave him inspiration.
They thought outside.
I gave him inspiration because it was a very creative way of killing a Reminisces.
Yeah, they thought outside the box, because if you fight a Reminisces normal, like sword and board, that is a uphill battle at best.
Yeah. I think I got like a couple good hits at one point. But like it was it happened so fast. I'm like, okay. And I did like the strength checks to see if she can break the statue of her head. Nothing. And through this whole thing, the statue is just insulting the Reminisces. Like, you fucking suck.
if you were to run that same encounter against the same people, but they didn't have those objects or something like that, that would be a completely different.
Oh yeah, yeah. If they didn't think about drowning the Reminisces. Bro, I thought I was going to take at least like 2 of them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, was it a young Reminisces or like a fully grown Reminisces?
It was a fully grown
Reminisces.
It was a full grown. Yeah, it was a giant's pet.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah, it was supposed to be the majority of that session, and they just killed it. I think I did like 10 rolls because they were like, yeah, I'm just going to wait, and like see if it broke out, and it didn't break out.
Right. Well, you win some, you lose some.
It was. So. I just laughed because I'm like, I can't believe you guys did this to me.
That's the joy of D&D. You prep this much, and they go here.
Yeah, completely different area.
And it's like, oh, okay, that's cool. Quantum ogre,
right?
So
yeah, Reminisces are not joke.
No, they're not. So
what do you think they mean with modern horror? Because
that's actually what I was gonna. That's why I was gonna ask you. Modern horror.
What is modern horror?
Like, I'm thinking because they have to keep it. They have to keep it within the setting,
right?
And like the setting era. So I'm thinking it's gonna be modern, like type horror,
like The Thing,
where maybe I was thinking more like psychological, like. Not just like, oh, there's a scary monster, but
right.
like there's gonna be like things possessing and
right.
like haunting and whatnot. I'm not entirely sure.
I just think,
or maybe they're just saying it's modern horror because it's being written now.
No, it's a very interesting choice of words because they say modern. They could have just said, not modern, snow theme horror or just horror. But they used the word modern horror. I think it's interesting.
I mean, it could be because, like, I don't think, off the top of my head, I can't remember any really big modern horror things that had to do with elements.
Yeah.
You know, like being trapped outside in the snow or something like that. By the way, polar owlbears. I think that's going to be one of the new monsters.
Oh yeah.
That whatever that shaman thing is that's on the cover, I think that's going to be one of the monsters.
Think so?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, come on. I definitely think that's going to be one of the monsters. I'm not entirely sure. I think it just might be. I think it might be a modern horror style written for D&D.
I can dig that. I know you're excited. I know that as soon as you saw the word horror in there, you were like, "Yep."
No. When it said feel the cold touch of death, I'm like, yes. And that's like 320 pages of modern horror. I'm like, yes. So, still haven't heard anything about mechanics. There's probably not going to be mechanics.
I'm sorry, but as a DM, travel is such a pain.
Traveling is boring. Like, if for you to make traveling interesting, you have to come up with so much stuff, and even then all that's doing is just getting in the way of your players.
Yeah,
like because they're just like, hey, we're at point A, we need to get to point B. What is all this crap in the middle? You know, like you can try to spruce it up, make it interesting, do some cool stuff with it, but like traveling has always been like the part of any campaign for me.
It will be really interesting if they really, really beef it up in the sense that like the actual, because they always say, oh, traveling is a part of the campaign, but like Tomb of Annihilation, I'm sorry, supposedly was like the exploration part of it. Right. But at the end of the day, it was just roll this. If this doesn't happen, then this happens, you know? Right. And check this table to see if there's any encounters. A lot of times, I just didn't roll well enough and the encounter was not interesting. So, like, if they make the actual, like, if they write out the actual traveling part, you know, like, all the things in between a lot of stuff, maybe that could work. But, like, when relying on tables, man, I am not good enough of a DM to make traveling interesting like that. It'll be like, oh, look at that, an encounter. But I can hear my players go, I just want to get to, you know, the Tomb of the Nine Gods. I don't want to get here. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, the thing, I think the problem with that is that a lot of random encounters, like you're going to have like some, if you look at a random encounter table from any D&D book, any 5e D&D book, there's going to be like enemy, social encounter, enemy, environmental stuff, enemy. So if you do roll a random encounter, which is unlikely because usually it's like 18 or higher, that's when you get a random encounter. So if you roll really poorly, hey, guess what? Here's a travel montage. So even if you do roll for a random encounter, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to have a combat thing. Yeah. Which, you know, if you keep throwing combat at the players, that's going to start getting monotonous to a point. So what they need to do, I feel like what they need to do is that if they want to make traveling more dangerous, they need to have a purely environmental like hazard. Like okay, and it doesn't have to be 20 like suggestions. It could be like a D8 or a D6 or what have you. And it'd be like, okay, you know, roll for a random encounter on 18 or higher, roll for an environmental encounter, and it's like, oh no, avalanche or thin ice or, you know, something like that, or like blizzard, like whiteout kind of a deal. And that way the elements have more like presence, and it's not just like backdrop, like, oh, it's really cold, roll a d20, oh, you made your DC 10 Constitution save, okay, never mind, fuck it.
But here's what I want though, because I think this is something that Tomb of Annihilation did excel at, is that some of the environmental encounters were actually like, some of them were just a paragraph, but it had enough detail in it to engage the player, you know. But to roll for
what was the likelihood?
To roll for those,
what was the likelihood?
To roll. Let me finish.
No, go on.
To roll for us for those, it was very hard. Like sometimes it was just like, oh, it just running really hard. So like you said, like environmental encounters, I want like a good chunk of text. Like, this is what they see. This is what is happening. Right. This is the problem, and this is the solution for them to get out of it, or something along these lines. I'm not saying like, oh, they specifically have to do this, but like, hey, this is if they do this, more likely they're gonna fall in the ice pit or whatever the fuck.
Right. Okay. So say for example, there's the elemental encounter thing that I said about, and it's thin ice. Okay. Roll a percentile dice on how thin the ice is. That's the and however thin the ice is, that's the DC that they're going to have to make to get across. Something like that. Like just give us something.
Yeah.
Like make the environment, because the environment is dangerous.
Yeah.
Like in real life, it's fucking dangerous. Yeah. Like if I go out now, there's a good likelihood that I could be dead within days. And it's like moderately warm outside. So I don't know.
They need to, because here's what I don't want also is I don't want them to like spend a whole chapter describing each environmental encounter. But at the same time, I don't just want like it's cold and there's a cold pit, and they have to make this saving throw. Because I know that they leave it that way because some DMs love that stuff. But if I'm using a module, it's because I don't have time to be coming up with a lot of random shit.
No. And that's perfectly fair.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be some DMs, especially brand new DMs, they're not going to know what balance is in terms of DC and stuff like that. And so, I think this would be the perfect opportunity to make elements dangerous.
Yeah. I agree 100%. Because also the other thing is that one of the things that I always find scary in cold environment themed horror games is just walking through the snow in the dead silence, because the snow absorbs all the sound.
And it is completely quiet.
And that is terrifying. The actual fact that you don't know what you're stepping on, Yes, monsters are cool. You can fight them, whatever. But the fact that you don't know what is happening underneath the snow and you can't hear anything past the nearby trees, I want them to bring that to life. That's something I want.
See, what I would really like to see is them beef up a blizzard where it's you can't track where your footsteps were because the snowfall is so heavy. It covers up where you walked, and then you might have to do whiteout. So roll to make sure you don't go blind from the snow, snow blindness, I stuff like that. And
is that a real thing?
Oh yeah, it's that's when it's heavy snowfall and then the sunlight comes through it and refracts the light.
Jesus. Never even thought about it. I never seen snow, so I don't know.
I haven't either. Well, I have. Never mind. I have seen the snow, but yeah, snow blindness is totally a thing. I have not been a part of it, thank God. But that's why a lot of your mountain climbers, they have those goggles that are But going back onto what I was saying before, I think a big reason why travel also takes a big backstep is because usually point A and point B is going to be dangerous area to dangerous area.
Yeah.
Take Curse of Strahd, for instance. You guys were traveling from, well, you weren't traveling from a dangerous area, but you went into Berez, you fought the witch there, and then you went to Vallaki, you rested for a bit, and then you were on your way to the Amber Temple. The Amber Temple, aka the Meat Grinder, it's well known and well loved by the D&D community for what it can do. So you guys kind of knew, hey, this is the place that Strahd got his powers from. We're probably going to expect. Oh, there's a duck. We're probably going to be expecting a bunch of evil stuff there. So then every time there was an encounter on the way there, you're just how do we get past this with using as little resources as possible?
Yeah.
So
not gonna lie, you're right.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you're okay, we need to get there with all of our HP intact and as many spell slots or whatever we have, intact. So I think a easy solution for that is just to be like in Icewind Dale or something like that. Just be hey, we need you to deliver a message to this guy that lives on this other side of the mountain. He's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But getting there is the problem. Yeah. So the travel part becomes the dungeon, and then just getting there is a reward. And there might be a small encounter or something like that, but there's not a dungeon setting that you guys have to grind your way through.
Because I'm not gonna lie, I think Robert warned us, and then you told us a little bit about it too, the traveling to the temple. And I was dreading that throughout. I am glad that it was only one big encounter, really. Yeah. Because I'm oh, I just want to get to the Amber Temple. I want to know the secrets.
Right. Yeah, and it's a lot of traveling feels like you're just stringing the characters along.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, all right, can we just get to the cool part?
This is the perfect opportunity for them to do it. I don't think that they're going to, sadly. I think that they're just going to base it off of a Tomb of Annihilation travel hex map that they did, if anything. It might be contained in the 10 towns, so it might not even be like actual survival.
Well, I'm not asking for like a tome of travel rules,
right? But
I am asking for just a little bit.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think they're gonna do it. I don't. Sadly, then being at level 1 through 12, it seems like they're just. I love their adventures. They're all awesome. But it's like, this is what we're good at. Let's just keep with this for a little bit. I think that's what they're.
It might be, and it might not. I mean, we honestly won't have any way of knowing until it comes out.
Yeah.
But I am hoping my best. What's the word?
Guess.
My best scenario here is that it's going to be like a Ghost of Saltmarsh kind of thing, where hey, here's a bunch of adventures, and then here's a bunch of mechanics for sea travel. Where you're just like. Right. So now you can make that nautical adventure that's been burning in the back of your skull for the past 3 years. So it's just like, I mean, like I said, I'm not asking for a whole book on it, but maybe just a couple of pages.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more.
I mean,
that's all.
All in all, I'm super excited. We've been working on the back burner on a Viking theme thing setting.
That's been like a year and a half now.
Yeah, I know, right? So having a little bit more of like creative inspiration in the northern colder. Hold on one second. Thank you for entertaining. But having a little bit more creative inspiration from the actual source itself of Wizards of the Coast in a northern, colder setting excites me. Plus, I mean, it's a new adventure. I'm always down for a new adventure.
If there is any sort of like cold survival elemental stuff, I'm 100% going to cannibalize that for something.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Because that's why not? That's the whole reason why they put it, and they put ink on paper was for that purpose. So
one thing that makes me happy, well, two things. First thing is the book has a limited edition version of it, which I'm gonna get because it looks amazing.
Oh, that artwork is sick.
It looks so good. Not gonna lie, the last one I got Avernus was actually pretty good, but the one for
yeah, I was about to say you were gushing over
Saltmarsh. The special edition for Saltmarsh was actually slightly disappointing.
Really?
Yeah, in my personal opinion, it was different too. It wasn't like the
was it the artwork that was disappointing about
the artwork? Yeah.
Let me see if I can look at it.
However, this one looks amazing. It follows the same style as Avernus and all the other ones, really, like Volos and the special edition for Volos, special edition for Xanathars.
Oh, yeah, the Ghost of Saltmarsh limited edition was.
Yeah, no, but this one looks fantastic. And they're coming out with another box set of dice and goodies for the adventure. It's called Icewind Rime of the Frostmaiden. Is it just called Dice and Miscellaneous? Hold on a second.
Probably.
They just called it. They called it the same as the adventure, but they look really nice too. The box obviously looks super nice. It's I want to call it Frozen for adults because it has that like that cold snowflake pattern stuff all over it. The dice look really nice. They have that what's it called? The little sparkly things inside of it. It's like resin with
I know what you're talking about.
Fuck, what's it called? The stuff that strippers wear.
That's
glitter.
That's what you remember it as, not the arts and crafts stuff.
No, the strippers.
What's that stuff that I couldn't get off me that one day?
Okay, Andrew, I'm gonna send you something real quick.
Oh my gosh. Is it coming through Discord?
It's coming through here.
Okay.
Send you a link.
Okay.
Let me see if I can put this on the stream so people can see it. It's a dice set.
The stuff that strippers wear.
But look at like scroll down a little bit.
Okay, hold on. Zoom's not helping me here. Oh my gosh.
It's It's a snow owl bear.
Hey, it's a snowy owlbear. Hey, that's one for me.
There you go. You were right about that one. Yeah, it includes 11 dice, 2d20s, all the usual stuff. Player-friendly fold-out map of Icewind Dale at the 10 towns. 10.5 by 15, which is nice.
That icy dice looks really good.
Right? Like, this looks really nice.
I wasn't expecting them to go for like the dark blue aesthetic. Like that was it's not even like a blue, it's more like a turquoise.
Yeah, I really dig it.
Snowy owlbear.
Yeah, so yeah, they're coming with this. It's pretty cool. Probably the same price as all the other ones. Also the box quality the box quality for these are always really nice too.
Oh yeah. I love the fact that they double as a roll box for
other news recently because of everything that's happening in our planet. Dungeons and Dragons came out with a statement on the way they portray certain races. You want to talk about that?
Yes. Yeah, we could talk about that. We're not going to get too political here, and it's not a very political thing.
I read it. I finally read it. And I'm like, it's not like the craziest thing ever.
It was like a blurb. It was like a paragraph and a half. Pretty much what they were saying is that going forward, actually they said since Eberron going forward, they are going to try for like the playable races and like the monster races and stuff like that. They're going to try to add more shades of gray in terms of morality, where it's not like orcs are just evil and drow are just evil, because those are the two ones that always came up. Drow, orc, always evil, because historically, yes, they have always been. Ironically, the biggest red flag in terms of that is Curse of Strahd. More specifically, the Vistani.
Yeah.
Turns out, and I did not realize this until I read the thing about Magic the Gathering, where they took out a bunch of cards that could have been perceived as
insensitive,
or what have you, prejudice. Yeah. Turns out a lot of people were not cool with how the Vistani were portrayed in Curse of Strahd.
It's until somebody mentions it, man. People speak out.
And the thing about it is that
you changed it, right?
I did. I had to. Well, I didn't have to. I wanted to. Because going to pull back the curtain, because you guys are probably going to be wrapping up Curse of Strahd anyways. There were two Vistani camps in Curse of Strahd. There was Madame Eva's camp, and then there was Aragol's and the other guys. I forgot. Lugash. Aragol and Lugash's camp. And the thing about it was that in Curse of Strahd, if you ran it just as the book tells you to, the Vistani are welcoming, but they have their fingers like crossed behind their back, and they will backstab you the first chance they get.
Damn.
Even Madam, especially Aragol and Lugash's camp, because they are straight up villains. And they were, and they can like put curses on you if you even like try to insult them and stuff like that. Fortunately, that never came up, and I'm really sad because the curses were pretty cool. But I did switch it up to where the two camps were like diametrically opposed, to where Madame Eva's camps were the like kind-hearted, but like, hey, you're gonna get yourself into some shit kind of thing, like camp. Like they welcomed the party, but they also they weren't opposed to the fact that these guys are probably gonna be dead. But then Aragorn and Lugash's camp, straight up villains, just like how just how it's said in the book. And I felt that kind of added more diversity.
I mean, if it makes you feel better, like I remember when we first met the Vistani, and not necessarily in this playthrough, but the first time I met them, and the first time we played the campaign, that whole encounter, that what you described, was pretty awesome, because you focus very much on the openness and welcoming aspect of the Romani people, not all the stereotypes.
Right, because that's what they were based on. Okay, hold on. Let me backtrack. The Vistani are based on the Romani, or as they are historically known as the Gypsies, and like they can like read your fortunes, and they had like a little bit of magic to them and stuff like that, like like with the curses and whatnot. But they there was more to them than meets the eye, and they were a very colorful, flamboyant people, and they considered everybody family, kind of a thing. And I leaned into that for the reason being, you can't have everything be bad in that setting. Yeah. I don't want to keep punching these people down. And I wanted, and I felt like the Vistani in Madame Eva's camp came in both times I tried to run Curse of Strahd. Well, the second time. Anyways, both times that I ran Curse of Strahd, I felt like they came at the perfect time because there was a bunch of bad shit you guys went through. You saw like minor desolation and like just people that were bleak and hopelessness, and then the Vistani show up and there's just color and light and food and like warmth and wine and you got and both times I ran it, everybody partied and it was a great time and everyone drank. Which is
funny because as you were saying that in my head, I was like remembering because like when we first started, like you always describe it, and for me it was like very like faded out colors and gray. Right, but the encounter with the Vistani, it was just like the fire in the camp lit up everything around it into like very bright, vibrant colors. So like, yeah,
it was a taste of the old world that you guys unfortunately got trapped out of. You know, so it was just a little beacon of hope, just a little bit of levity. You know, like and everybody else in the setting wears like dark earth tones, like gray, brown, black, that kind of thing. But the Vistani were like bright red clothing, and like you could see them from a mile away, and they had no cares in the world because they were They didn't have to worry about Strahd and his monsters because of a long held allegiance. So and there were random encounters for the Vistani where like you come across them and they're like sharing ghost stories and smoking tobacco and stuff like that. Like it was just like really neat stuff. And I didn't want to make the ones in Madame Eva's camp villains.
Right.
Like I felt like that would be too much because like you guys may or may not have trusted these people, and I did not want to ruin said trust because of one bad thing. Whereas the other ones, I made a distinct, like, I made sure to directly tell you guys these are not the Vistani that you were used to. Like, these guys are thugs, and they look like ne'er-do-wells and stuff like that. And so to kind of increase that like sense of unease, you know, and also to add a little bit of diversity to it.
Yeah, and the cool thing, I don't know if you know the specifics, but Wizards of the Coast is doing two things. The first thing is they're actually working with a romantic consultant to change all of that for future printings of Curse of Strahd. Cool. And second, for all the other adventures, and they started with Tomb of Annihilation and Curse of Strahd, and with all the new reprints, they're changing a lot of like insensitive stuff that they have that may or not be in a book.
And there's really, I mean, if you read it, there's really not that much they have to change, unless, I mean, it I guess it really all boils down to how, I don't want to say catering, but like how strongly they want to backpedal on that. You know, because like the image of Vistani and Curse of Strahd is very stereotypical. Yeah,
even in the artwork, because I've seen some of it.
Yeah, I mean, some of the artwork's not bad, but yeah, some of the artwork's not that great either.
Which I mean, I think in my opinion, I like that they are acknowledged in this. I'm not a big into like PC world, but can you imagine you as a freaking Romani living in the States or whatever, you want to play D&D with your friends and they just so happen to pick Curse of Strahd? Like, right. That's kind of awkward.
And it's just if you're someone that's like Romanian or Romani or what have you, and the DM is running Curse of Strahd the way it is written, where the Vistani will treat you like a brother 1 second and then stab you in the back the next. Right. That's like, okay, whoa, dude. Yeah. Like, all right. I mean, and that's like that the idea of a race as a whole being evil in D&D never really sat well with me, because I'm like, it's never that black and white, you know. And I've always I've had some homebrew ideas where it's like, you play as a like band of orcs and you kind of realize, oh, they're not evil, they just have a different worldview, you know, kind of a thing. It's like, what is evil? Which
even then, like 5e in my opinion has been pretty progressive about that, because even in like the standard player's handbook, like we said earlier, the paladin is an orc, it's a half orc, precise.
And a barbarian to
A
human.
barbarian to human. Yeah, exactly. Like, so they had that in the back of their mind. It's just that with everything that's happening, it was kind of like the catalyst for them to like bite the bullet and just like proceed with all the things that they were probably already planning. But with that,
and
hold on, one more thing before you continue. They're actually adding, they call them, they're calling it sensitivity readers, apparently, to read their adventures before they go to publishing.
Yeah, I mean that's just, and the thing about that is that 5e has reached a lot of people.
Yeah.
and the world keeps changing, and things like this need to adapt to the world that is changing. And what was okay in the 80s is not okay now. Like, you can't have a fighting man.
Right.
And
I kind of dig it because, again, based on our freaking episode today with the Cleric and how it has changed, in the real world, there's no absolutes. And for me, my favorite parts is when, like, movies, books, comics play into the, this guy is obviously the bad guy, but then they show his part of the story, and he's not actually a bad guy. He's just, like you said earlier, has a different point of view.
Either that or he's not the villain in his story.
Right.
Like, he's completely justified.
That's much more interesting to me than, like, they're just bad. They like to destroy all the houses and all the huts.
I'm evil.
Yeah.
Like, I'll get you.
Right,
like,
exactly.
And I think, and it's, to be perfectly honest with you, with a lot of this is a pretty easy solution. Just be like, hey, like orcs. Let's take orcs, for example. That's the one that, like, a lot of people latched onto in terms of, like, racism. Like, just say, okay, instead of making orcs chaotic evil, just be like an orc, humanoid, chaotic alignment.
Right.
That's all you got to do.
Because you're right. It doesn't have to be evil. It can be chaotic neutral, chaotic good. They're just chaotic by nature. But they're not evil by nature.
It's just like the drow is honestly a bit more of a like grayer area, because it's like, by the lore, they are in fact like subjugated and stuff like that, and so it's like that's going to be like a stickier topic to kind of pick apart. But I mean, there is still ways you can be like, most drow are like, you can be like, most drow are usually neutral or lawful depending on what, because they've been like yada yada. Just keep the morality part out of it. It's just there's obviously going to be some more difficult fixes, but this is not a mountainous challenge.
No, it's not.
As like a lot of,
some people tend to think that it's like impossible to change. When it comes down to it, it's not that complicated.
It's really not. it's like all in Curse of Strahd, all they had to do is probably change a couple of words, and boom, that fixes all their problems. Like, and just I would say though, they should probably still keep Aragorn and Lugash as like the villains. Mm-hmm. Just because, like I said, you need that like black and white. Like these are the good guys, these are the bad guys, and there's everything in between. Just to show, like, because you guys ran into a bunch of humans. There's nothing but humans in Curse of Strahd, by the way. You ran into a bunch of humans that have spanned the entire morality, like from lawful good to chaotic evil. You've seen all the the entire alignment chart. So I mean, it's like, it's not. I don't know. This is not as big of a deal as, I mean, I'm not saying it's not as big of a deal as people are making it out to be, because it kind of is, but it's not going to be that much of a problem to solve.
Right. Especially with 5th edition, in my opinion.
No, they've really made some steps forward in 5th edition, and it's just another step forward. I'm just happy
that they're facing it head on. It's funny, like Kristen's company, because I hear her talk when she's working. Like, even they are talking about like how they can change, how they can improve. So it makes me really happy that like there's companies out there who actually legitimately care. It's not like, oh, how can this give us profit, or how can this affect us? It's like, okay, there's obviously a problem. We need to fix it. So this makes me happy that one of my favorite companies, it's tackling this. Right. I'm not going to be one of those that are like, oh, you can't change it because it's been like this for a long time, dude. Like,
yeah, that's the way it's always been.
It's like, nah, no, man, like, make him just stop. Like, it's
the whole point of D&D is that you can make a whole fucking world of your own if you want to. So yeah, they can change some things up. Who gives a shit?
Exactly. So
Well,
they're
you know,
putting steps in place and they're working on it. So that's pretty awesome. But we are running out of time, Andrew. So
yeah, this episode's gone on a little bit longer than you would probably like.
Yeah, but it's okay because it's the
So-
last episode for this season. For every
Season
season
finale.
finale.
I don't have the
Okay, I'll edit it in there in post production.
No,
I
I
won't.
won't.
Thank you everybody for joining us. It was a great trip. Thanks for listening to every single one of our episodes because I know you have. All of you, all three of you who are watching us right now, which one of them is me.
What if it's me?
So it's just us two watching.
I know this is an echo chamber.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, we didn't think we were gonna make it to 22 episodes. We're gonna take a small break, not anything crazy like a year, like Netflix or anything like that. But we will be back bi-weekly again with a bunch of different topics that we have in the back burner.
Yeah, we're gonna kind of get out of the books a bit, go back to more concepts, ideas, and stuff like that. So there's been some stuff that we've been burning up to talk about. We're just like, all right, we just gotta get to the classes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So
But thank you for listening. We have new episodes every Thursday. Every other Wednesday.
now it's Thursday.
Thursday now. Yeah. We also have new episodes. Sorry, I'm trying to play the outro music in a good syncing. We play live on Twitch every Wednesday. Last Wednesday we had a storm going on and one of our players' router blew up, so we only played for a little bit. It actually blew up. Like there was like sparks and the crap. We are almost done with Curse of Strahd. We're gonna move on to probably a short adventure after that, but then we're going to Avernus.
Maybe almost done. I was not expecting you guys to spend 3 sessions in the same place.
But it's a blast. Join us so you can give us your comments and keep track of our craziness and shenanigans. Follow us on iTunes, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, all the things. I think it's on this side and overlay. So with that, you guys have a good night. Thank you for listening to our podcast and keep on gaming. Bye.